Attention passionate Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news. All right, folks, sit tight because what I'm about to tell you might just be one of the most exciting developments for the Seahawks in recent memory. There's a buzz in the NFL circles, a lot of whispers, and some solid rumors that could shake up the NFC West, and more broadly, the NFC playoff picture. And it's all centered around a potential blockbuster move involving the Cincinnati Bengals, specifically about their star wide receiver, T. Higgins. Now, I know this might sound like just another trade rumor, but when you dig into the details, it becomes clear that this could be a game changer for Seattle. And I promise, I'll walk you through everything from the latest intel, what it means for the Seahawks, and how this could reshape the entire division. First, let's talk about the background. The Bengals are currently sitting at 4-3, and while that's not a terrible record, they're in a bit of a tight spot cap-wise, especially with Joe Burrow's new extension looming. That means they need to make some strategic moves to manage their salary cap, and trading away a player like T. Higgins could be part of that plan. Higgins, who's just 26, has become one of the league's most dangerous red zone threats, especially in 2025. He finished that season with 33 receptions, 512 yards, and 6 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards per catch. He's a player who excels in contested catches with a 76% success rate, and his explosiveness YAC of 5 yards per reception really makes him a valuable deep threat. His top red zone stats with a 70% touchdown rate show just how clutch he can be when the team needs him most. Now, Higgins' career numbers are impressive. Over 0 yards and 29 touchdowns, with a catch percentage of 67%. But a shoulder injury in 2025 did limit his snaps, down to just 82. So this injury concern might be part of why the Bengals are considering moving him. Still, when healthy, he's being compared to some of the best in the league, like A.J. Brown, especially considering his impact in the red zone and as a reliable target in critical moments. But here's where it gets really interesting for the Seahawks. Rumors, thanks to insiders like Diana Rossini, suggest that Cincinnati might be willing to part ways with Higgins in exchange for a 2026 third-round pick and Laviska Shenault Jr. Now, this isn't just about acquiring a talented receiver. It's about making a strategic move to free up cap space, around $2 million, so they can bolster their offensive line or focus on their defensive needs. The Bengals are focusing on their cap, and losing Higgins would hurt, no doubt. But it might be a calculated move to keep their roster balanced and competitive, especially if they're eyeing a deep playoff run and want to shore up their defense and offensive line. But for the Seahawks, this could be a golden opportunity. You see, Seattle's passing game has been pretty solid this year, but adding someone like Higgins, who can be an absolute game changer in the red zone, would elevate their aerial attack to a whole new level. And I mean level asterisk. With Geno Smith starting to show more consistency and confidence, a weapon like Higgins could turn the Seahawks into one of the most explosive offenses in the league. Remember, in 2025, Higgins was targeted heavily in the red zone, and his ability to make contested catches, something he does at a staggering 76% rate, means he's a perfect fit for those clutch moments late in games when you need that extra edge. His yards per reception, around 15. 5 show that he's not just a red zone threat, but also a reliable deep ball receiver. And let's not forget the impact on the Seahawks' overall passing yards. Right now, they're averaging around 232 passing yards per game, but with Higgins on board, projections suggest that number could surge past 275 yards per game, an increase of over 14%. That's a massive upgrade, especially considering the Seahawks' focus on improving their passing game this season. Adding Higgins alongside DK Metcalf creates a dynamic duo that defenses will struggle to contain, especially with the kind of chemistry Geno has developed with both players. This would make the Seahawks not just a team that runs the ball well, but a true aerial threat, capable of scoring from anywhere on the field. And speaking of Geno Smith, he's been playing solid football, but his performance in the red zone has been a bit inconsistent. That's where the addition of Higgins could make all the difference. His red zone efficiency in 2025 was 70%, and with the Seahawks' offensive line showing some improvements, thanks to reports indicating that they've been working on shoring up the interior with Josh Jones returning from an ankle injury. Geno would have even more time to find Higgins in tight windows. His ability to make contested catches, combined with the Seahawks' improved protection, could push the team's red zone success rate from 55% to around 67%. That's huge, folks. It means more touchdowns, more wins, and ultimately a stronger playoff push. Now let's talk a little about the bigger picture. This move could also significantly impact the Seahawks' Super Bowl odds. Currently, they're hovering around plus 700 to plus 400, depending on the sportsbook and betting market. With such a weapon added to their arsenal, those odds could short even further, making them serious contenders to challenge the NFC powers. Especially against teams that rely heavily on zone coverages, like the 49ers or Eagles, having a player like Higgins could be the key to unlocking their offense in those critical moments. It's not just about the talent, it's about the strategic fit, the chemistry, and the confidence that Higgins can bring to this team. And for the Seahawks, it's also about setting a new tone. Remember the years when players like Baldwin were the focal point of the offense. This could be the start of a new era, a renaissance of Seattle's aerial attack, with Higgins as the anchor and ignition for a receiving core that's becoming increasingly dangerous. His ability to stretch the field, make contested catches, and perform in high-pressure situations makes him a perfect fit for the Seahawks' offensive philosophy. Pairing him with DK Metcalf creates a nightmare for defenses. Two big, physical receivers who can both win contested catches and run past defenders on deep routes. Of course, all of this hinges on the trade actually happening, and there's still some uncertainty. The Bengals are known to be cautious with their cap and roster moves, and they'll weigh the long-term benefits against the immediate loss. But if this trade goes through, it could be a catalyst for the Seahawks, transforming their offense from decent to elite and propelling them into serious Super Bowl contention. Imagine a scenario where Geno Smith, with that extra weapon in Higgins, becomes even more efficient, and the Seahawks' offense starts clicking on all cylinders, much like the team's best years when Baldwin was lighting up the field. They could become one of the top aerial attacks in the league, and that's something Seahawks fans should be really excited about. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about the impact on the defense, too. While the focus here is on the offense, don't forget that the Seahawks are also trying to bolster their front and secondary. By freeing up cap space through this potential trade, they could make some moves to strengthen their pass rush or improve their secondary coverage, something that's been a bit inconsistent this season. But that's a story for another day. Today, the focus is on how Higgins could be the piece that completes the puzzle for Seattle's offense, giving them that extra edge to dominate in the passing game and make a real push for the Super Bowl. And speaking of Super Bowl, those odds I mentioned earlier, moving from plus 700 to plus 400, are not just numbers. They're a reflection of how much this kind of move can shift perceptions around the league. It's about confidence, about showing the league and the fans that the Seahawks are serious contenders, ready to take the next step. Higgins, with his proven red zone ability and big play potential, could be the X factor that puts Seattle over the top. But let's not forget the human side of things here. For Higgins, this move could mean a fresh start, a chance to be the focal point of an offense again, and a real shot at making more plays in the postseason. For the Seahawks, it's about taking that leap, making a statement, and setting themselves up for a deep playoff run. The division rivals, especially the 49ers and the Rams, will have to brace themselves if this trade happens, because it would immediately escalate the Seahawks' offensive threat level to new heights. It's a bold move, but one that could pay enormous dividends. So my fellow Seahawks fans, keep your eyes peeled, because everything points to a very exciting possibility. The NFL is full of surprises, and sometimes the biggest shakeups come when you least expect them. If this trade materializes, it could be the start of a new chapter for the Seahawks, one where they don't just compete but dominate the airwaves and remind everyone why they're a franchise with a storied history of explosive offenses and game-changing plays. This is the kind of move that can turn a good team into a legendary one, and I, for one, can't wait to see how it unfolds. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Seattle Seahawks news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you believe Higgins would be the perfect addition to elevate this team to new heights? Or are there concerns about cap space, injuries, or other factors? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion really matters to us and to the Seahawks. It's your team, your voice, and your passion that makes this community so special. And don't forget, I'll be back very soon with more updates, rumors, and deep dives into everything happening in Seahawks land. So stay tuned, stay hyped, and let's keep the Seahawks spirit alive. This season could be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and with moves like this possibly on the horizon, the future looks incredibly bright. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next video.